Alright, welcome back. This is Narab TV. Third video for the day. Getting a little tired, but glad I could get these videos out as quick as possible for you. This is going to be the guide for all 5 families. Not the Cenarian, that's not available yet. So the other 5 families for Brightwing, the fairy dragon. Site's a lot of fun. But I will say the Drakaseth build for these first 3 fights, first 3 heroic bosses, just works so well. So I have your Drakaseth Death Ball with the Pyromancer with big splash damage being enhanced by Drakaseth. You got the Witch Doctor that applies ward to everyone. Really useful to keep everyone alive, as well as taking out the little sheeps that the sheep will be used for crowd control. Using the gold talent, it's the best talent for it. You got the stealthy safe pilot. The elemental damage enhancement from Drakaseth just pairs exceptionally well, and the splash damage when you need to take out big groups, it's wonderful. Big swarms, and then your totem shaman, your Frostwolf shaman doing the enhanced armored on Drakaseth usually, and just healing everyone up. Great, and don't forget the miner. It just helps with the economy, and because you want to control the 3 nodes at all times to deal damage, it's really great to use him for economy and control, zone control. So we'll take a look here. I will admit, this is probably my strongest team as well. Everything's green. Level 26 fight. Brightwing summons her family to help defend the Grove. But also on Heroic, she maintains her... Oh, that's it. So, just like normal, she has, you have to control each of the 3 nodes to be able to damage her. But the big thing here is that she summons a whole bunch of her family, a bunch of fairy dragons, to help her. And they see through stealth, which is really annoying. So, using those little stealth guys isn't as useful here. As you see, I'm starting off just by trying to get control of all 3 zones. I can't do anything to her until I do that. But once I do, my Pyromancer, even without a Drakaseth out, did some nice chip damage. It's like 10% already done. Now, I got my Drakaseth out. He's going to tank a crap ton of damage from the Owl Beast there. I got support with the healer and the Witch Doctor. And now I got Witch Doctors helping capture stuff. And once things are out on the field and you got a Drakaseth tanking damage, usually you're just owning all 3 nodes at this point. And notice here, the Witch Doctor, whenever she ports across the room, the beam stays on her, even if it's like well out of normal range. I'm hoping you get to see it again. It's going to move here in a second. Nope, I'm going to kill it. See that right there? That is way longer than it would normally stretch, but as long as you establish that connection, which is another reason why I think I use Witch Doctor for every team here, it's just easy chip damage on the boss. So, really great mini for that. Next one up, we're using a Tyrion Death Ball again. I will say I used probably a not perfect team here. I think everything's great except the lockpick guys. Now, it's a double-edged sword. They're cheap, and there is a chest that you can unlock here and get extra gold. If you get that off, it's great. The problem is, herself, Brightwing, and all of her spawn, the other fairy dragons, can see through stealth. So if they happen to be the only thing there and they see it, they're going to pick it out, and it won't be able to like do its stealthy business. So I will say there's probably another choice to put there, non-stealth unit, something maybe Blizzard. Blizzard would be a good choice for just chip damage on all the flyers and crowd control using the stun talent. But I'm using Murlocs here for range. You got your ward again with the Witch Doctor. I'm using that Last Resort, Don't Die shield that I can never remember the name of the talent on Tyrion. He stays alive. And you got your safe pilot again as usual. I am using the Quillbore for distraction and tank damage and to control nodes. And I'm using my cheap flyer, Griffin, for picking off some of her spawn as well. This one worked pretty well. Wasn't as fast as the Drakaseth win, but it was up there. So we start out protective shield, blocking everything until you control the nodes. So go for the middle. There's my invis guys. I'm getting attacked by the Huntress. And try and wait for it to come in and pick it off. But you'll notice right there, they spawned. You have the little fairy dragons. They spawned. And then my little invis guys, my little Defias are gone. They picked them off because they can see invis, which is just really annoying. That's why I'm dropping the safe pilot there. Gonna get my Griffin to help pick them off with the tower tanking. Never underestimate the power of tower tanking. And there's my Tyrion surviving what should be very much lethal damage, getting another shield. And that should take out the owl. I need to get the third node under control if I want to start dealing damage. And there's my third, but I'm gonna lose it here in a second. Yep, it's gonna get picked off. But I do have control of all three, and now I can start dealing chip damage to the boss. But I do not have quite the economy that I'd like at this point. Got all those open nodes there that I need to get control of. Or open gold nodes, rather. So, gonna try and get control of right again. Tyrion's gonna take control of left. She is vulnerable once again. Gonna try and use it while Brightwing's distracted, get the gold bonus. That's where I'm torn. It's such a cheap unit. It still is useful as long as it isn't picked out of stealth, and it gets you that extra gold, which is great for economy and getting more Tyrions and more safe pilots out for control. Now, once I got 2 Tyrions rolling around here with being buffed by the Witch Doctor and a 3rd Tyrion, once you get that ball rolling, it's really hard to stop, and you'll notice the damage really chipping away now on Brightwing. The problem with Brightwing with this fight, and probably this build, is that it kills the things that deal damage to her really well. Not Tyrion. Tyrion doesn't do damage. Does distract, though, but it kills the Flyers, the Murlocs, the Witch Doctors really easily. So you need to really try and bait its attention. But with all of its minions out there, it's a lot harder to do that. So this fight takes a little bit longer than the last, but it is successful nonetheless. So we got about a minute left. Gonna push up on the left. Still have all of them under control. I'm trying to take out that fairy dragon. Almost missed. Ah, yeah, see? Fairy dragon, even at 26 with the 1 level differential. I can't take it out with just 1 hit. And by this point, all my little guys have died, so I'm just trying to get control established on the board again and get things that can damage. But we're about to enter overtime. With overtime and the low cycling minis that I'm using here. As you might have noticed, the highest cost mini here is Tyrion himself. Everything else is below that. So it really gets high cycle. You're going to get your Tyrions out pretty often, and also means you're going to get your pilots out really often, which are really going to be your big damage dealers to the boss here. Or rather, the pilot will, and your Tyrions are going to be necessary for the distraction. Look at that, halfway, like across the map, just chunking away. It's cheap, and I don't think it was intended, but I don't think they're going to fix it now. Alright, Tyrion's still going. Getting chip damage again on the boss. Just got to keep control of the map and not let little kobolds steal my node. How dare they? As you can see, it's using Blizzard against me, and with all the Flyers, I actually think Blizzard would work really well here. I think it would be a good swap out for the Defias. The only problem with that is you're not going to get the gold bonus, but you don't really need it if you are getting high cycle anyway. And that will finish it with the Witch Doctors. Again, a little longer than the last, but still straightforward. That one went a little too fast. Go back a little bit. Just want to be able to show you my build for Gromos, using Gromos again. I think this one is exactly the same as my last two. I'm using the Voodoo again. He just applies great shields to all my smaller minions, like Gromos, like the Pilot, the Murlocs. Everyone else gives great little shields and the chipping away damage at the boss. Safe Pilot I've used on everyone here. It's just splash damage, direct damage to boss, stealth damage to boss. All really useful. Gromos, he enrages everyone, which is a damage buff. He is kind of like a tank, but he's a lot squishier than the rest, so he dies pretty quickly. But we got high cycle here. As you see, he's the most expensive, so we're getting him out pretty often. And then the big star here, I'd say, is the Dark Spear Thrower. His damage on the boss, on the mini, like on everything in this that we face here, except the wolves, except for the dire wolves, it does great damage to everything else. So we'll go ahead and jump in here. Gotta love the voice acting on Brightwing. Always a lot of fun. Loved Brightwing in Hearthstone and in HOTS too. So I'm starting up the middle with Gromos, supported by the Murlocs. Gromos and the Murlocs will at least take out that one annoying... Sorry for the pauses, too. There was a lot of lag last night. They've actually fixed it. There's a patch today. This was last night filmed. But then this morning, or this afternoon, they fixed a lot of the lag issues. So I'm going to save my miner there with the Witch Doctor. All those good shields. Well, save them for a moment. And make sure I get control of that node. And at this point, I have control of all 3 nodes, but I need to take out the flyers. And as you'll see there, he takes out both handedly and doesn't lose any health. And if he did, he'd get it back. So, really, really useful. But see, the fairy dragons take out the witch doctors. So witch doctors can't self-sustain against them. They need a support. But the only thing that really challenges the Dark Spear is the boss itself, and I'd say the dire wolves when they get played, which isn't that often. But I have control of the map. Well, that's not true. I lost that node, but my Kobold will get that back. Get him in position. The Gromos to prevent losing the left side. There's the shield, and I'm gonna take some damage on the. On home base, but that doesn't matter. Not a big deal. Now, I keep getting attacked on the right side. Well, they're using a different talent. This is the pop back talent, which I actually think is like the lesser talent. So I notice it does swap talents around. This time it's not the invis talent, it is the pop back talent. Kind of like how Jaina pops back with damage. Yeah. Didn't need to place it there at that time. That kind of sucked, but we'll get the chest. And I need to get control of the right. They keep pressing me on the right, and I haven't had good control of most of this game. I'll lose Gromos here in a second. But my Dark Spear Thrower will survive. And that's really what matters. Dark Spear is definitely the best counter to... There's the Direwolf taking out my Dark Spear, but they're the best counter to the spawns. And that combo with the Murlocs and the Griffin is plenty to take that out. It's crazy. So it says you don't take, it doesn't take damage at all when you don't control it, but I was doing damage there even without owning all of the nodes. So that's something to be aware of, that you might be able to cheese some damage out on Brightwing, even if you don't have full map control. Yep, gonna get the Gromos on the left. Use the tower to take out that fairy dragon. Right is under control, but I need to make sure I kill that. And start mining. And of course, I've lost the middle at this point, but looks like I'm gonna drop the Quill Boar. Yeah, this fight, because things die pretty quickly and Gromos is not nearly as tanky as the last two, is I'm going to be swapping, like I'm going to have to retake control of so many of the nodes instead of maintaining the control because they just walk uncontested. This one will end up being pretty close, as you can see, but we are in overtime, and overtime, even Gromos just pulls ahead because you're going to get a lot of more Dark Spears out. You're going to get more Gromoshes out, which you can make up for his squishiness with just more Gromosh. More Smash, more Zug. We love it. And now you can see he's buffed everything. We got plenty of range on top of Brightwing. Smashed to pieces. Could be cleaner, and again, there's probably some fine-tuning to be done there. Blizzard, I think Blizzard is a really good spell, so if you're looking for a spell, I would consider Blizzard as maybe a swap-in for one of these, using the Freeze talent. Alright, next up, we're using Baron Rivendare for this one. I think this is the same setup I used for the Druid Twins. We're going to have a fast Gargoyle to chip damage away at Brightwing. It'll be a tank to take damage away from our squishier range. I am using the Defias for the extra benefit of taking the gold. I think another strong candidate there for low cost would be the Murlocs with the shield talent. You got your Witch Doctor giving shields to everyone. Got the Skeletons, that's the squad party or dungeon party. So you have like an Invis guy there, you have a tank guy. They just really help support Baron Rivendare. You can use them to help give him health back if he's low, because he'll eat them with his talent, Death Pact, and use them for capturing nodes. And we got Griffin again, and the safe pilot. You know what they do. We'll jump on into it and see how this one played out. So this one's one of my weaker teams. I'm going to use the safe pilot just to take mid. Didn't have one of the stun guys ready right away, so I wanted to make sure I got the zone under control. And because of all of these minis that are unbound, I have all three already under control, and I'm already chipping damage on Brightwing. With the safe pilot, gonna have the Witch Doctor deal some damage here in a second, and now I can get my Gargoyle rolling as well. Use the Stealthies here to take out that annoying, see, that's it seeing through right there. The Fairy Dragon killed my Stealthies. That's alright. The nice thing with this is you're also getting all that fodder skeletons, which just help distract from your more valuable units when they spawn. Chipping damage here on Brightwing, and luckily distracting while I get gold from the node and from the chest, which is really great. Now I can get all my bigger, heftier units out. Got another Gargoyle flying. Again, you really just want to try and maintain full control of the map and use your tank units to distract from your less tanky range units. Your range units are the winners here. I do use the Gargoyle here, and it does do chip damage. It's not insignificant. There, it's about 10%. About another 20% total. 25. Did about 25% damage. The problem is, she keeps spawning all over the map, and you need to anticipate where she's going, and then he'll just float around and get picked off by the fairy dragons. So, unless you place it perfectly, it's really not going to do a whole lot, but it will distract, and it will do damage when you've landed it, which is good. Yep, so I don't have full control of the map, but damage is pulling through. Look at that throw from the Griffin! So, there's a lot of fun things where it seems, even if it teleports across the map, if the if the spell is already cast, it will just finish the cast and go any which way to complete it. And a little bit of channeling, and that was almost done. What do I play here to finish it? Oh, the Griffin off screen. That'll do it. Alright, and to wrap it up, we're doing Charlga here at the end. I think you've caught these first three bosses, these first three encounters in Moonglade really pair nicely with low cycle cost runs. So Charlga, you have 1, the highest cost here is 3. You're just cycling right through. Means you're going to get a lot of Dark Spears. You're going to get a lot of safe pilots, and those are your big damage dealers here. I am going to try the Harpies here. I try them to take out things like the big owl beast when they're distracted, maybe sneak in some hits on the boss itself, and taking out the dire wolves. I think if you were to swap this out for something else, Griffin would fit in well. It's a low cost mini. I think there's other like other than flying, you could swap something else in there. I think you could get a spell in there. I think Blizzard would work well. It's like I've said here, I didn't use it all, but I think Blizzard is an effective spell. Polymorph just works great here as well because it pairs well with the Murlocs, Safe Pilot, and your Dark Spear. So we'll jump on into it. See how this one went. This one is another weaker team, level 26 versus 26, so it's a pretty even match. I'll start the match. I usually want to take middle because I don't want the enemy to get those the chest. As you see there, when you do release your minions, they like to go left, so the pathing is like this. So you got to be aware of that. I'd say if you have an Unbound that you can drop there to ensure you get there fast and capture it, use the Unbound. It's just a safer play. I now have control of 2 of the nodes, but I have the 3rd node on the right to control. I'll use my Quillbore to take control of that. I already have my wonderful Dark Spear doing chip damage, but I'm getting chip damage on me from the Harpies. But that's okay. I've got plenty of health to work with. Alright, so we're dropping on top of Brightwing herself. I missed it a little bit. Always got to be careful with the angling. It's a little hard to tell, but the thing you can use to really remind yourself, the thing that I need to remind myself, shadows. The shadows are where they actually are on the ground, and that's what you want to aim for. And this map is actually pretty good with its shadows. You can pretty much tell where they are. Alright, so I want to make sure I don't lose the left. So I'm sending my Harpies. As you'll notice, though, I would have lost them because of the electric damage from the Owl Beast, which is why I used my my Polymorph there. In retrospect, don't think that was the playing Harpies here was the best play. You'll notice I haven't played it very often, and when I do, they die pretty quickly. So definitely one to consider something else. I think Griffin, if you want to stick with a flyer, I think Griffin's the play. Because it's cheap and it fits the theme here as well. Alright, we have all 3, and I got my Dark Spear Roman. Getting damage out on the bosses. And there's an example of, they're going to die fast, but I have the poison trait on them, so it's getting poison damage on the boss as well. Now, I will say, for all 3 of the beast bosses, I don't think any of them offer anything exceptional here. Charlga's ground, or it's range but ground oriented, so it doesn't help with the boss at all. It is a tank, but it's like an exceptionally, it's not really a real tank. It's exceptionally weak at being a tank. It's not designed for that. I do think you'd get some tank benefit from playing Hogger, especially as it buffs up with each play. You do high cycle, but he's not going to deal damage to much else, and he's just going to run super fast around. I just don't think, I don't know, maybe that was the better play here. Hey, let me know in the comments down below if you tried playing with him. I think you could do a Murk-Eye. The only problem I see is there are some AoE controls here. I think the fairy dragons and the huntresses and the wolves would just chew through all of the Murk-Eye Murlocs. So I just didn't think it would make that much sense. But again, I might be wrong. Maybe this is a place for it, because Charlga is going to do nothing to your boss. Charlga is just the means by which you get cheap fodder on the field. But I think with this one, it's a lot of damage being done by your safe pilot. And if you go back there, if you actually look back a little bit, right here, there must be some sort of range. Like, so Brightwing didn't have any like notification, didn't notice the kobold there, as well as the fairy dragons. They like went this way, so it must have been just out of range. That's something to keep in mind if you're trying to like maybe squeeze a dark iron over there. I just got lucky with that, but if you're trying to avoid the flyers while also mining, you might be able to squeeze a dark miner in there without drawing attention, so to speak. That's a funny face. But with that, that is all 5 families that we have available right now. Defeating Brightwing, the 3rd heroic boss in Moonglade. At least 2 more. I have beaten both with my Death Ball, both Cenarius and Acera. I haven't finished the other ones yet, and I want to film them as well. So it's going to take me a minute to get those together. Hopefully I have them to you in the next day or 2. But if you liked what you saw, or if you didn't like it, let me know in the comments down below. Any feedback really helps. And if you want to see more Warcraft Rumble, WoW, Hearthstone content, other stuff that I do a bunch of other random stuff with like magic and crap. If you want to see any of that, drop a subscription and hit that follow button as well. In the meantime, I'll catch you later and have a good one. Okay, peace, bye.